Okay. My name is Evelyn Morris. I'm a primary school teacher in a large school in Edinburgh. It's called Flora Stevenson Primary School, and I currently teach P6, which are children 9 coming on to 10 years old. I've been teaching for a long time, for 19 years, and had lots of fun across from all stages, but I'm trying to be in kind of upper school now.
Oh, great. So how did this whole story with Harry Potter start? What was the...
So our topic is Harry Potter, which you might think, oh, well, that's really nice, but it's actually a very good interdisciplinary project where all curriculum areas are brought into place and combined and built upon. But I can't take the credit for starting it, because a couple of years ago in lockdown they realised that some of our E's and O's, which are our expectations and outcomes, weren't actually being met for that stage, and they were quite scientific ones. So to put it into a really fun context for the children, Harry Potter was decided upon for potions and lotions and magic wands and things. But it really was a case of, mixing substances and creating chemical reactions was the actual purpose of it. And then it kind of grew arms and legs, and I started doing it with my class last year. And we have acceptance letters come for the children from Professor McGonagall, who is the Deputy Headmistress at Hogwarts. I've been learning about Hogwarts as I've gone through the process, but I do like things to be very realistic for the children, or very imaginary as well. We got our head teacher to bring in a big envelope, a bit tatty, and a couple of feathers sticking out of it, and she had it arriving on her windowsill, running up to us and going, "This is for you," and the children were immediately enthralled. Whether they were Harry Potter fans or not, it didn't matter. They all actually ended up believing that we had been invited to Hogwarts. So immediately we'd already started kind of thinking about the characters, the friendships. They're very different characters between Dudley and Harry Potter in the beginning, and it very much looks at equalities. It looks at different race, culture, everything you can think of. And then it goes off into this magical world of owls and wizards and witches. So you've taken from the sort of health and well-being aspects of the topic, and then there's an owl in it called Hedwig. And so what I started to do to make it really fun for them, because you've got to remember everybody had been in lockdown for an awful long time, and I wanted to re-engage that fire of education. So as it was boiling hot in my classroom, we had our window open constantly, although we are on the 3rd floor. But I started sending scrolls from Hogwarts to my children. They genuinely thought it was from Hogwarts, and they would land on the window every morning. And so we would open it up, and it would be telling them instruction on what they needed to do to get into Hogwarts, and then so there would be letter writing. So they had to write a formal letter of response back to Professor McGonagall. We looked at the houses in Hogwarts, like Slytherin and Gryffindor and whatever, and we were looking at the traits of the houses, what makes you a good, strong person, what kind of house would you be in. And what we have to realise is that everywhere in the world, everything is made up of lots of qualities and specialities and things, and that's how the world works. So it was very good from that point of view. And then it went right into, I know COVID's been terrible for so many people, including ourselves here, but it actually just put a really amazing slant on the whole topic, because we were invited to start term on a certain day, and as that term day approached and we were learning more about science and things, I was like, what am I going to say now that I've said we're going to Hogwarts and we can't actually do it, anything. So bing bong, COVID. And I just wrote a letter, a scroll from Professor McGonagall saying that term had to be postponed because the curse had arrived at Hogwarts. And I didn't say to the children, oh, the curse is COVID. I'm going, oh my God, the curse, what could the curse be? And it's like, Miss Morris, they've got COVID, we can't take COVID into Hogwarts. So it began to grow arms and legs, and then for the rest of our project, we were saving Hogwarts. We were saving them from muggles, which are humans, but we were saving it from the curse. And my children made potions that they were going to take to the government as vaccines this was in the first lockdown, before the vaccinations were created, and they were basically going to save the world. I've never had so much fun, and to be honest, I think maybe the worrying thing is I actually thought I was going to Hogwarts, as well. We had owl feathers everywhere, we had drawing skills, we had creating skills, the potions were brilliant with the scientific experiments, but there was just so much involved, and it brought us back to an exceptionally positive place in the world, in a world that had been really ripped apart in so many ways. So my children loved it, and I think they'll remember it forever like I will. So that's our Harry Potter project.
Yeah, and you spoke a bit about an impact on you, and could you elaborate on it? Because I assume you got better connection with your children.
Yes.
They also got better with you.
Yeah, I mean, we're very much a great believer in cooperative learning, where the children work in pairs and teams and build on each other's tasks, skills, knowledge, so that we're learning together. I really like we encourage our children to lead in their education, to decide next steps, through self-assessment, peer assessment, teacher feedback, they can see where something's going. And this is why, so for Harry Potter, it ended up being a whole process of learning about COVID and how it was affecting the whole world, and looking at different countries. And then the children might want to kind of establish an opinion as to who should be vaccinated. Is it safe to have a vaccination so quickly? So it just really embedded and brought us together as a team, where we were constantly working on each other's ideas, constantly trying to, take steps in different directions from what the children wanted to do, which is great. But I just love we're such a team. My children are a team, and we're just such a team together, and we ended up, but we gave that to our families as well, because obviously at that time nobody's allowed into school, very difficult for families, you can't reach out to them so much. So we were doing videos and putting them on Teams, and we had a Harry Potter day, so they all created their own costumes, came in, did all such simple but such effective scientific experiments, or potions and lotions making, where you can put just like a very typical one is Mentos into some Coke, it explodes, they love it. An explosion is just a thing, and I just got enraptured by the whole thing. But I'm so proud of my children and the way that they just took it all on board, and it was like you can just imagine them diving into their education and loved it. So it was really great.
Exciting.
Very exciting, yeah. Exhausting, but exciting.
Hey. Hello.
Can I get my laptop?
Yeah, I have one last question. The question is, what would you recommend other primary school teachers in Europe who want to include culture into their teaching?
What would I recommend to other teachers in other schools, Europe, culture, blah, blah, blah. Right, okay, we'll just run first.
Yeah.
Right, so recommend other teachers, other schools.
Who want to include culture into their teaching?
Yeah.
The door closed. Okay, go.
So for anyone in any country, across Europe, across the world, to include culture into your children's education is an education in itself for you as well. And it's shown, for instance, the Harry Potter topic